Welcome into a brand new Tuesday Scramble, July 5th, 2022. I'm Rick Gehman, that right there, Andy Lack. Andy, hey, bud, did you do anything noteworthy for the 4th?
Not much. I had been traveling a bunch. I had a wedding. I was in Chicago for a bit, so I was kind of just like getting my bearings settled back in New York. I played some golf over the weekend, which was fun. And no, just took it easy. Started diving into the open. What about you?
I got caught up on Stranger Things. Have you seen this? Do you
Okay.
watch this?
I don't watch Stranger Things. No.
I feel like I'm just committed to seeing how this whole thing ends at this point. They're in, season 4. There's, I guess, going to be one more season coming up, but I have the finale left. So the last like 3 or 4 episodes are all 2 hours long. They're like each
Right.
a movie. And I'm like,
Right.
wow, like that's awesome. Like it's amazing. I don't know what the budget is. The budget has to be nuts. Like you can say what you will about the storyline, but like the visuals in this show are pretty nuts.
So I've heard the final season is a bit polarizing. Would you agree with that? Where I think a lot of the diehards are a little kind of out on the most recent season.
I don't know how it ends yet. So maybe that will make me feel a certain way, but I do like, and this happens with a lot of shows where the main characters are kids. Like they're clearly not kids anymore. You know what I
Right.
mean? Which is like, it's tough to pull off some of the things that you were previously able to do with these children as main characters. And it's like, we're past it. I can't believe they're going to do another season after this one.
Oh wow, I didn't
Yeah.
I didn't know that as well. Yeah, I mean, what's that 5 I guess it's Netflix's biggest thing going right now. I guess maybe the golf show can overtake that. Hopefully next year.
Oh, easily. Yeah, no, that'll be no problem there once the golf doc comes out. It is Tuesday, and I am actually watching live Tiger Woods play golf at this JP McManus Pro Am. It's a hit and giggle, Andy, but if golf's on TV and Tiger's playing, I'm watching.
Right. So I've been following more so with the scores. What is the eye test telling you with Tiger?
It looks rusty. I mean,
Yeah.
I think especially yesterday, he hit some shots that were not tie. I mean, he would hit a chip that would come back to his feet. His speed control looked a little bit off on the greens. I thought he drove it okay. Yeah, I just think he's got to get it. He's got to get it dialed in. It looks like a lot of rust out there.
So do you think that he will do you think he'll be able he's going to probably I would imagine he's not playing Scottish. So maybe he'll head over to St. Andrews a little bit early and play uh I mean, not that he probably knows that course like the back of his hand, but I would imagine that if you're trying to put a positive spin on things with Tiger, I mean, this is kind of a Parkland course. And, hopefully when he gets to St. Andrews, that's going to be a little bit more up his alley.
Yeah, listen, and the other thing is it's kind of hard to tell. Like at the other major championships this year, we saw that limp get more pronounced like the more the week went on. It's kind of hard to tell here because he's in a cart. So like I'm really getting very little information about the state of Tiger Woods at the moment.
Yeah, so you're not even getting to analyze the gait, huh?
Right.
You're not getting to see the stride.
It's not gate, which would be
Yeah.
like
He ball striking wise though, how's the ball striking?
I mean, it looks pretty crisp, but I just think again his distance control has been a little bit off, and maybe
Mm.
that's something where he's just got to get more reps in and get the club through the turf or whatever. But I mean, the long stuff's actually been like the long games. I think has been better than his short game. The short game looks super rusty.
Would you change like I think we put when we've talked about this a couple weeks ago, we put the finishing position on him at like I don't know, 27th or something like that. Does this change anything for you?
No, there's also like he's clearly not trying all that hard.
Right.
Like there was a couple of chips where like there was a chip where he like left it back at his feet or whatever, and he just within a half a second had hit it again. Right. It was not the full Tiger Woods grind by any stretch of the imagination. So no, I think I'd be a little bit silly to change my opinion based on like this event.
Right. Well, Xander looks like he's trying hard, huh?
Xander's just gonna like Here we go. I mean, Xander's going to win this. He's going to win the Scottish. Might just win the Open Championship. Might just rattle off like 4 in a row, including this Pro-Am.
Let me ask you, for Xander, most impressive win to you, Shadow leaderboard at Tour Championship, Zurich Classic, Olympic gold medal, or JP McManus?
It's got 13. It's got 13 number 1 players in the world in it.
It's a big boy field, yeah.
I think as much as I love the Tour Championship win, I think you have to throw it out because like that, him winning that was not aligning with what he was thinking in the moment.
Right. The
So
context of it. Yeah.
that has to go away. What were my other options? The Olympics or what was it? Was there
the Olympics, JP McManus, and Zurich?
Oh, Zurich, no way. It's got to be the Olympics then.
It's got to be the Olympics.
Yeah, because that's, while it's still a smaller field, while it still was super top heavy, he knew where he stood the entire time. There is, it's 100% the Olympics.
100% the Olympics. I agree with you. I think the Olympics win was actually underrated, which is a whole different podcast. But yeah, I mean, we see this with guys all the time, and I'm not saying this is going to happen with Xander.
Say the floodgate thing.
But I mean, look what happened with Scotty Scheffler, right? Where he is results wise, he was doing a lot of what Xander was doing. Like, people forget that the way Scotty Scheffler started his career before the floodgates, we shall say, was a lot of close calls, like a lot of top 5s, a lot of top 10s, especially at major championships, right? And then he gets that big win in Phoenix over Xander Schauffele, unironically. And he wins, I think, 4 times in his next 7 or 8 starts, and has, 1 stroke out of winning a US Open and losing in a playoff at Colonial too. So hopefully for Xander, like, I know with him, a lot of it is a confidence thing. Like, he kind of had to get over the hump of, he has all the talent in the world. You ask any of the other players and they say Xander has absolutely everything you're looking for. I know for guys like me and you, we've seen it too, because the statistical profile is so solid all around, but he's had those struggles on Sunday closing the door, and hopefully he was able to, build some momentum from what he kind of experienced at the Travelers and can bring it on forward.
Yeah, he's super bullish, just super bullish on Xander moving forward, even without this, what is seeming like a stout victory at the JP McManus. He is too clear of Sam Burns. Sam Burns has 2 holes to play, trying to track him down, and then everybody else has. Yeah, I mean, Shane Lowry's 4 back with 9 to go, but probably not going to get there.
Yeah, and we should not overreact to this. I mean, is there anyone? Are you looking at scores from the JP McManus? Does that have any bearing on who you're going to play at the Scottish Open? Like Fitzpatrick, for example, is like 6 over at the JP McManus. Do you care at all?
Fitzpatrick is kind of an interesting one where, like, I'm happy that he's getting these US Open hangover rounds out of the way right now, right? Because this could have been the first 2 rounds of the Scottish Open where he shoots 77, 73 and goes home, right? So I'm actually happy that Fitzpatrick, there was a chance he was going to play poorly in his first competitive events no matter what. But otherwise, no. Like, seeing that Bryson's a couple under par or DJ's a couple under par. I guess those guys aren't playing the Scottish, but you know what I mean? Like, I'm not, like, Colin Morikawa is playing well. Like, no, none of this is not really changing my opinion on anything.
Right. Okay. I agree. I completely agree with you, by the way.
So those live guys are not actually, they can play the Scottish. Ian Poulter can play. Adrian Otaegui, I think that's how you say his name. He can play.
Yeah.
And there was one other third guy who's in. So Brandon Grace won in Portland, which, Andy, I think this is kind of one of the potential problems that we identified 6 months ago, is that in 182 tour events, Brandon Grace made $12 million, and in 2 live events, he's made 6.6, which is a problem when other guys look over and say, freaking Brandon Grace is winning all this money. I'm way better than he is. I should go over there and do the same thing. That's like he is now the official example of what we talked about could potentially happen.
Yeah. And I think if I had to make a guess, and you've been on this one too, is a lot of guys are I don't think, to be honest with you, we're going to get to, I know we got Paul Casey in the last couple of days. I don't think we're going to get too many big names before the Tour Championship. But then as soon as the Tour Championship happens, I think we're going to get a second migration, because I think a lot of people are saying, well, what's the upside in me going now? I might as well just double dip, right? And try and get some of the FedEx Cup money, have all these other guys take the heat for being the first wave, and then go in the second wave during the offseason.
Yep. I agree. I think that's exactly what's going to happen. So we'll keep an eye on that. Shout out JT Poston, wire to wire. And if I would have told you, the winner of the Birdie Fest John Deere Classic would play his final 15 holes at 1 over, I think you would have smacked me upside the head.
Yeah, I mean, no one really went out there and took it from him. You know, I mean, he didn't play poorly on Sunday, but if I don't know if he played good. And I thought somebody maybe would have shot that 62 or that 63 to go out and overtake him. But thing with JT Poston, like, I remember when he won the Wyndham, he didn't make a bogey all week. Like, once every 3 years, he's just going to have an absolutely unconscious performance where he basically blacks out for 72 holes. And then we don't really see him again for another 3 years. And then randomly it's like, oh, JT Poston, turn the microwave on. Here we go again.
Yeah, I tweeted that out, and some people thought that I was taking a swipe at him. And I'm like, no, dude, like, first of all, I'm stoked for him, and I'm stoked for my bank account. But also, like, I think it's a testament to what he had built up prior to that, right? He had built up enough of a lead to shoot 1 over his final 15. And it just says that nobody made a run at him. Like, that's okay. That happens all the time on the PGA Tour. It is not a negative. It is not a knock at JT Poston. It's more of a statistical anomaly that was, to play the US Open at 1 over your final 15 and win makes complete sense. The John Deere Classic usually does not.
Yeah. I mean, I think obviously there was a lot of the big story this week was, the field and the dichotomy between the fields on the Live and the John Deere, and, what's a better TV product, what's more compelling and stuff like that. Did you find yourself gravitating more so from one to the other?
I watched probably 2 hours of the Portland event. I do not believe that there is good golf being played. I tune in and I see guys hit some horrible shots, some really, really horrible shots, and they make Pumpkin Ridge look very, very difficult. I do like some aspects of the broadcast. I like the scoreboard that they have that flips around. I like how many shots that they show. And there is a comfortability for me to wake up and have golf on all day for the John Deere, so for me, I personally like that because I'm sitting in front of a computer, in front of a TV all day. I can follow it all day long, but I do not believe that is necessarily good for the game, that it's like a 14-hour window, a 14-hour broadcast window. So there are definitely, especially from the broadcast side of it, like, pros and cons to both of these items.
Very fair. I would agree with that. I talked about this a little bit on my Sunday podcast, that I like the idea of golf being on all day personally for me, but I understand completely what Liv is going for. I think there's something appealing, especially to the players. And, for a lot of golf viewers, I think we're probably in the minority where we're able to sit down all day and kind of digest it. I think a lot of people probably want to get in and get out. And maybe they have that short window from 3 to 6 on Saturday or Sunday where they want to be able to consume all the golf possible, and they don't want to just be able to see the leaders play the back nine. I'm very fascinated to see when's the next one. It's the week. Is it the week after the Open?
No, it's the end of the month. It's like July 20, I guess it would be the 28th, 29th, and 30th, I believe.
Yeah, I might go. I mean, it's
at Bedminster.
Yeah, it's very close to me. It's about, I think it's 30 minutes outside of the city. So we'll see. I'll use promo code Westwood.
Yeah, get your 25% off. And that's the last event until after the Tour Championship,
Okay.
which I think is important. They play a lot of events in the fall. Okay. I want to talk about the Renaissance Club. I want to talk about the Scottish Open. We have props to get to. We are indeed presented by PrizePicks. The code you're looking for there, Rick, link in the description. I have some stats. I'm going to become an amateur meteorologist. Lots of fun things are coming up. But first, we are going to take a quick break and hear about Andy's podcast. Andy Lack is not only the co-host of The Scramble, but also produces his own show, the Inside Golf Podcast. It's available twice a week, focusing on course breakdowns, DFS, and betting strategies for every PGA Tour event. Admittedly, I was drawn to Andy for his data-driven approach, which you'll find on his Sunday shows as he breaks down the field. But I'm even more impressed by his passion for course architecture, which offers a different perspective of our great game. Mix those together with insightful and humorous guests who don't take themselves too seriously, and you've got a recipe for a great podcast. Follow Inside Golf Pod on Twitter and download Inside Golf wherever you download podcasts. Okay, Andy, Scottish Open, the field is just straight yoked. 14 of the top 15, the only one not there, Rory McIlroy. He'll be there for the Open Championship. This is, call it what you want, tune-up before the Open Championship, but when you inject this field into any tournament, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah. I thought the idea of co-sanctioning this was kind of a stroke of brilliance, right? Because I think what we've seen in recent years is the move for more of the top end players to play the week before a major championship. And especially when you get the Open, and links golf is so different from the golf courses that most of these guys see on the PGA Tour. I think it makes a lot of sense for these guys to get some links reps in. So I could not be more excited for this. I gotta say though, so for you on the West Coast, like, what is your sleep schedule like these next 2 weeks, man?
I don't know. It won't be much. It'll just be like, okay, so the coverage will start for me. So the PGA Tour Live this week starts at 2:30 a.m. Eastern on Thursday. So that's 11:30 p.m. for me. So what I will likely do is stay up, watch a few hours, grab a nap, wake up and see the end of it, and then kind of try to be on that schedule. Like this Wednesday into Thursday will be the worst, and then I'll be able to figure it out.
And then you'll adjust, right? And then you have to do recaps too. So are those recaps going to be I would imagine those recaps are now like in the late morning for you.
Yeah. So if the normal round ends at 6 p.m. Eastern, now it's going to end at like 1 p.m. Eastern. So for me, that's 10 a.m. Pacific. So I'll be doing round recaps and HQ hits and stuff like that, like all morning long. But then I guess I'll have the afternoons to do whatever, afternoons and evenings, or afternoons to do whatever I want.
Afternoons, yeah, you can play golf, maybe.
Yeah, I should make some tee times for the afternoons, yeah.
Right. Okay, yeah, I was, because I mean, I know it's a lot harder on the West Coast, but I was thinking about the same thing. I'm going to have to change the schedule a bit. But yeah, I cannot I mean, this is I love Tom Doak. Obviously, he's probably one of my favorite modern designers. So I cannot wait to see all the stars tee it up here at Renaissance.
Answer this question, because this is the fourth year we're going to play at the Renaissance Club, fourth year in a row. And I think what you read, you get a little bit of conflicting ideas. So I'm just going to ask you a very general question. Is this a link style golf course?
Link style, yes, but it's not a traditional links. I mean, they're not, personally for me, I would love them to see them play the Scottish Open at North Berwick or Muirfield. Just like, we had the Irish Open on a Parkland course. That's a travesty. The Irish Open should be held at Ballybunion. I mean, have some freaking pride in your country, guys. But no, I think as far as a modern links goes, I have a ton of respect for Tom Doak. I can't say a bad word about Tom Doak. This is the best that we're going to do. I think 4 holes border the ocean. And there are some modern characteristics to it. Like they took out a ton of trees, but it was, it was kind of built on a piece of land on an old pine forest. And you're going to see what truly characterizes links golf, Rick, is the predominant use of the ground game.
Mhm.
And you're going to see a lot of players not have to do that the way that they're going to have to do at St. Andrews. But I still think that in terms of aesthetics, it is, it is a way more lengthy than we'll see on the PGA Tour. I'll say that.
The other aspect of playing overseas, which is this is already turning people into a pretzel, Andy, is the weather and how it will impact the results and how accurate we can be at prognosticating it. And let me tell you, this is not going to be a fun 2 weeks for it.
No, and it's not. And the other thing that I would say about it too is like, it makes our jobs harder, especially mine doing like the DFS article and stuff like that, because it's so dependent on the weather. But like if you look at a weather report for Boston on a Monday, it's not going to change all that much on Thursday. Like you can get a pretty good sense of what's going to happen. Scotland is way different, right? I mean, most of the times, like when you see this tournament has been played in the past, a lot of times, like you get one day that's completely calm. Then you get one like 2-hour stretch where it's blown like crazy and then it calms down again. So I would say like do the best that you can. The way that I see it now, it does look like Thursday is supposed to be pretty calm. And then Friday afternoon is where it gets kind of crazy. Is that what you're seeing too?
So let's just throw out what we know. It is July 5th at 12:22 p.m. Eastern time. As of this moment, this will change every hour on the hour. Here's the PGA Tour's website, which is local to Scotland. They have up to 33 mile an hour winds on Thursday, but there is no other weather source that kind of aligns with that. So if you go to Wind Finder, and this is literally the Renaissance Club right here, like that this is it.
Right.
Wednesday is going to be insane. And
I saw that.
Now this is local to Pacific time here. So this is basically Wednesday afternoon is going to be insane. It's going to be like 25 miles an hour. When you go to Thursday, and it'll be like Thursday 2 a.m. is when these guys are going to start teeing off. Nothing. There's nothing.
Right.
And then you go throughout the day, not really anything. By the time you're into Thursday afternoon Pacific time, these guys are done. And then you look at Weather Underground, and they have the same thing. Wednesday is going to be horrible. Thursday, not so bad. So we've already got conflicting sources. I think I trust Wind Finder and Weather Underground over just the random thing that's posted on the PGA Tour's website, right?
100%. Go with Wind Finder. Whenever I get questions about the weather, I always say, go with Wind Finder. They usually don't steer me wrong. That's what I'm doing. So I'm glad we're seeing the same thing. Does it change? Like, what do you think the winning score is going to be this week? Like, does this change for you kind of the guys that you're targeting potentially that at least one of the days looks like there's going to be really pretty easy scoring conditions?
Yeah, and they got some rain, I think, either today or yesterday. I think it's going to be pretty soft. If you start looking back at the winning scores, it's like a 10-shot difference in the years that they had soft conditions and the year that they didn't, right? Like when Aaron Ryan 2020 won in 2020, I think it was like 11 under par. Minwoo and Bernd Wiesberger got softer conditions, and it was like 19 and 20 under par.
18 and 22. Yeah.
So I think that's, if we're getting the winds laying down, like I think if the forecast that I think is going to be right ends up staying that way, I think it's going to be 20 under or something like that.
I would agree. I would completely agree. I think it's going to be in the 16 to 22 under ballpark. And by the way, I mean, that's kind of the same deal for St. Andrews in 2 weeks' time now, right? Like I cannot emphasize enough how much these links courses are dependent on wind to put up a fight and protect par.
For sure. So I imagine that is not going to be the last time that we look at the weather over the course of the next 2 weeks, but it is just the weather that is being forecasted as of right now. Andy, let's do some props. There are some very interesting situations going on, and with the way, well, I'll save that for the other side. We are going to talk about the props. We're going to go over to PrizePicks. We're going to open up the board, and we're going to see what we can find. We'll do it on the other side.
All of the tools and data that you see me use on this channel is from my site, RickRunGood.com. RickRunGood.com is one of the largest golf databases on the planet, and it's geared towards making your DFS and betting research process as efficient as possible. There are literally millions of data points in the database, and while that might sound intimidating, the tools that I've built allow you to cut through the data quickly, choose what's important to use, and even build lineups that are ready for import directly into DraftKings. Outside of that, membership gets you access to the Slack channel, currently 2,000 run gooders who are ready to share insights and have a little fun. I love it, and you will too. Sign up at RickRunGood.com.
The code you're looking for is Rick. It's 100% instant deposit match up to $100. There's a link in the description. This is PrizePicks, and we're going to try to take their money now. Couple of items, Andy. I had another Andy who has been in my emails and tracking those birdie or better matchups, which are not live yet, but I'm sure they will be at some point today.
Okay.
We've been trying to figure out whether they're a trap, whether they are profitable, because the headliner, the guy that is featured, seems to always be significantly better than the other guy, and the lines are always set to 0.
Right.
Okay. I have the totals for the last 3 PGA tournaments that Andy M has accumulated for me.
Wow.
Yes, it's very, very handy, actually. The last 3 PGA tournaments, the headliners are a cumulative 91, 66, and 25. So they are smashing the other guys, as we were kind of originally suspecting, so much to the point where we thought we were falling into a trap.
I think it's probably a situation where PrizePicks probably looks at it and are like, we could probably operate at a loss on PGA because everything else is a little bit of a harder market to beat, and those are the more popular markets anyway, right? So I think they probably look at it as like, well, whatever. Maybe even if these guys want to make some money on PGA, we'll keep them for football season, right?
That's the thing. They're getting such more efficient lines on basketball, on football, and a lot more action that they could in theory just keep you interested at this time of year. Just keep you around, keep you interested, which, by the way, they had hot dog eating contest props yesterday. They have MLB live props. They had live stuff. I am interested. That is working. Keeping me interested is definitely working. But yeah, I think, and I just think in general, it's a lot harder to set lines and accurate lines for golf. It's such a volatile situation.
100% agree. And yeah, I've been doing great in golf, but I'm probably going to give all that money back in football anyway. So it's kind of working on me too. I was worried for a second because when I logged on this morning, I didn't see the matchups that I usually do, but you think they'll put them up at some point too?
I think they'll come today. So they've kind of just been like releasing them little by little, like birdies are better than strokes on Mondays. And then Tuesdays, you get the other stuff. So I think they're coming. I assume they're coming. We'll see.
Okay.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, I was looking at some of the overs in these. Like I was, even the birdie ones, like I think some of these guys, especially some of the ones that are at 4.5, like I think that there is some opportunity there because I looking at the weather and I think it's going to be pretty benign.
Yeah. So most of the birdies are set at 5 for the big boys, all for round 1. You can get 4.5 on Tommy Fleetwood, Keegan Bradley, Gary Woodland. You can get 4 on Ricky Fowler and Matt Kuchar. And I agree. So I think these are highly weather dependent, which is nice because we're going to be faster than PrizePicks is going to be on this. And if what we think the weather is going to be ends up being true, it's gettable, man. It's really, really gettable. These guys are going to have an opportunity to make five or more birdies or 4 or more birdies. The lines are set at 67.5 for the big boys. That's 4 under par at a par 71 Renaissance Club. I think if there's no wind, these guys are going to torch the place.
Yeah. So would you rather take the unders on some of the 67.5s or take the overs on the 5 birdies?
I would rather take the over on the 5 birdies.
Me too. I agree.
So I've been kind of looking into it. It is, it's so, when you start doing this and you realize that there are a million ways to shoot a 70, right? Like,
yeah,
you can make 9 birdies, you could make 2 like there, and some of these guys do, and it's just so fascinating how they get it done. Like I would never take, I know he's not playing, but like Charles Howell III, like, not your birdie maker, right? Like, he's going to shoot a 67 with 3 birdies and 15 pars. But some of these guys just go nuts. Like Sam Burns is a really good example. Just makes a ton of birdies. He's going to give a couple back, but he makes a ton of birdies. So I would prefer over on the birdies than under on the strokes.
I completely agree. I think if you're attacking this market, you want to go with the over on the birdies. There's some hard holes at the Renaissance Club too. Like 8 of the holes play over par. So I think the one that I was looking at, and this is because I'm quite high on him this week, and he makes a ton of birdies. I like that Cam Smith over 5 was kind of the favorite of the bunch. So that would be my hashtag pick.
Yeah, he is leading the field in strokes gained approach over the last 24, and like hasn't even putted all that well recently. And when that comes around, he's gonna pile it up. The other one I kind of mentioned was Sam Burns.
Yeah, love that too.
He's just a birdie maker, man. And yeah, he's going to make a couple of bogeys, and that's going to be okay because I'm taking 5 or more or over 5 on the birdies side here in round 1. But he's again, so I'll use the JP McManus stuff when it helps me. Playing well at the JP McManus, right? He's streaking. He's coming into it hot, but in all seriousness, he's got a very good, a great sample size of being like a guy who can go low.
Right. And, I think we should not put too much stock into this, but, if you want to take a chance on Ricky coming off a hot round at the JP McManus, Ricky looked really good, and he was like 4.5. So maybe Ricky finds a little form.
And he's played well at the Renaissance Club, right?
He has. He's won. I don't think he's won I think he's won the Scottish before. I don't think he's won at the Renaissance Club, though.
I'd have to look it up.
He's been good on links courses, though. He's been very good overseas.
Yes. So we will see. Ricky Fowler just shot he's going to finish like inside the top 5 at this event, 5 under. And I believe he's done. The leaderboard's kind of wonky for this. There was like 3 times in which they posted a 9 on Xander's scorecard, and they were all wrong. And then there was a time where they posted a 9 or like a quad on Bryson's scorecard from yesterday, and that was absolutely correct. He did make a 9 on a par 5, apparently.
Right. So I'm looking at the leaderboard now. It looks like unless Hatton makes a 2 on 18, it's really just Shane Lowry who has a chance to catch Xander, because Lowry has 6 holes to play. So he would need to go 3 under in his final 6 to catch Xander. I'm pretty close to Vince Carter gif on this one, man.
Yeah. And Shane Lowry would have to shoot the round of the day to overtake Xander. So
yeah,
I'm fairly comfortable saying that Xander Schauffele is going to win this thing.
No OWGR points for this, I'm assuming.
I cannot imagine there are no OWGR points for this. Probably even no. Is there even any money for winning it? I guess there's got to be, right?
I think there's probably the business connections that you make with old JP.
Yeah, JP just you're now like a consultant for JP, and he cuts you like $1 million check or something.
And I think Monahan was there too, right? I saw Monahan around. I think it's a bunch of heavy hitters for these guys. I mean, obviously, how else would you get all these great players to play if there weren't some ulterior motives with some potential business interests with some of the guys you're playing with.
Ain't that the truth? Okay. We have to get to our matchups and we have to get to our one and done selections, unfortunately for me, but we are going to do that right after I click this ad break.
If you're not playing daily fantasy on PrizePicks, then you're not really playing daily fantasy. They offer nothing but props and they do it better than anyone else. You pick 2 to 5 players on an over-under and can win up to 10 times on any entry. They allow mixed sport entries, meaning you can take the over on LeBron James and the under on John Rahm. The golf-specific props are amazing. Birdies or better, fairways hit, greens in regulation, rounds score, and now, yes, single hole props. That's right. What score will a golfer make on a specific hole? I have PrizePicks specific tools on my website to help you build the best entries, and now PrizePicks is offering a 100% instant deposit match up to $100. Just use the code RICK at sign up or click the link in the description. That's code RICK. Good luck.
You know what I haven't heard anybody talk about in a
What?
while? NFTs. Is that still a thing?
Yeah, I would presume they're still a thing. I mean, people still have the profile pictures, right? Like I still see people .eth, right?
Yeah, but I feel like the people who were willing to do that and like go out on a limb and be like, I'm an NFT guy, like they can't. It's like if you change
you're in
that,
too
you
deep.
lost. Yeah.
Yeah.
you're in too deep.
Do you own any NFTs?
Yeah, unfortunately. So I probably owned, well, at some point I probably owned only like 3 or 4, and I sold 2 where I broke even, and I still retain 1 where it is worth about 10% of what I paid for it. So my foray into NFTs, just absolutely splendid stuff.
Yeah, we'll have to monitor with Bryson too, because I know Bryson was making a play into that.
And like Joel Damon, who like came on the board of that golf related NFT company, like haven't heard another word about that.
Right.
That NFT company that was trying to buy a golf course, haven't heard anything else about that.
Right.
Where are all these projects?
So wasn't Bryson's big NFT too that famous picture of him at the API with the hand? Is there a conflict of interest now that he's suspended from the PGA Tour? Is he allowed to make? Is he allowed to profit off of that?
I don't know, man. What a mess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Lowry minus 8 now. By the way, this is exactly what happens when I Vince Carter gif it.
Yeah, he almost holed out there. I think he's going to tap it in for birdie, I assume, but he almost holed out for eagle. Okay, let's do matchups here. I've been traveling. You've been traveling. So just to reset us on our totals here, because I'm not sure if the last time we were together on a Tuesday, you are 51, 31, and 5, which is massive.
Yeah.
I'm still hovering within striking distance of 500, which is my goal at this point with, I think, 7 events to go. 40, 47, and 5. So you should follow what Andy picks here. So here we go. First one, Cam Smith versus Matt Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick playing for the first time since the U.S. Open. You have taken him here, Andy.
Yeah, I mean, I love Cam Smith this week. I already touted him for PrizePicks. More on him a little bit later. I just liked the guys that you picked later on, and so I wanted to get different somewhere. And I love this golf course for Fitzpatrick, and I have no reason to believe that he can't keep the momentum going. I mean, what's so impressive and underrated to me about Fitzpatrick is that he caught the wrong side of the draw at the PGA Championship and the U.S. Open, basically had to give up a stroke and a half, 2 strokes to the field to half of the best players in the world, and contended at both of them. If I told you, Rick, that Matthew Fitzpatrick won the U.S. Open as a neutral putter, like the dude has made some serious changes to his ball striking, and I have no reason to believe he can't keep it up.
I agree with you. Both of these guys are top notch for me. I went with Cam Smith, talked about it a little bit earlier. Just he's been phenomenal on approach. The putter is the thing that's let him down, and that usually does not stay down very long. And I I haven't done it yet, but I will bet like a 28-1 Cam Smith this week because it just feels too long for a guy with 2 wins. And like when he gains 4 strokes with the putter, he's gonna be in the mix big time, and that's probably likely to happen soon.
Right. And the final thing on Cam too is like you want Cam on courses with wide fairways where he can spray it off the tee. And the Renaissance Club has pretty darn wide fairways.
Yeah, so we'll see. Both those guys, though, pretty interesting. Sam Burns versus Colin Morikawa here. You and I have both taken Colin Morikawa, and then Sam Burns just went out and, lit Adair Manor on fire. But we're still going to roll with Morikawa here, aren't we?
Yeah, I like Morikawa a lot here. I mean, obviously, he had that very impressive foray into links golf last year, winning the Open Championship in his first
that was
appearance.
pretty good.
So, I have no reason to believe that Morikawa can't keep the momentum going, and I think he's going to be great this week.
Yeah, I don't have much to add to that. I just think that he's awesome, and I think that he gets kind of dialed in some of these situations. And I just and honestly, so you have to kind of split hairs on some of these guys. I'm a huge fan of Sam Burns and have been for a while. I've called him like the modern day winning golfer, like all that stuff. There is a little bit of a concern that he's like lost strokes on approach in 2 straight, and he hasn't been nearly as sharp. Again, I'm splitting hairs. I think that's what we have to do here. So I'm going to ride with Morikawa. Next up, Joaquin Niemann versus Max Homa. And you and I are both on the same side here. It's Max Homa. I have argued, at least from a fantasy perspective, Andy, like his stat profile for an $8,000 golfer is about as good as it gets.
100%. And he's actually he's doing what Xander did, right? To get to where Xander is, where he's not necessarily elite at one particular thing, but he's gaining strokes in all 4 major categories pretty consistently with the ability to spike on occasion. Like I would say probably the weakest part of his game is still probably around the green. And he's even started to clean that up a little bit too. So I bet Niemann at 50-1 this week. I think Homa probably has a better chance of finishing top 20. So I will bet him in this matchup.
I've got the stats up here. He is basically been one of the better ball strikers on tour in 2022. Right. He has, as you mentioned, cleaned up the around the green play, gained in 3 straight, and he's been really good for basically 4 in a row. The putter pops, and every time the putter pops, he turns it into something. I had a stat. It's old. I'd have to update it, but there was a stat where he had 5 situations in 2021 where he gained like 4 or more strokes putting, and every single one of them he finished inside the top 10. I think he won 2 of them. He was the only guy to take advantage of all of his pop putting weeks with top 10s. The only guy. So it's like when he putts well, he's going to be in the mix, and it happens fairly often.
Yeah, I honestly, Rick, I may bet him next week. I mean, I think he's good enough to win a major in the next 2 or 3 years. I really do believe that. So
how about this one? 2 completely different styles of golf. Jordan Spieth versus Will Zalatoris. For the record, we have both taken Zalatoris. I'm terrified, excited, every other emotion about Jordan Spieth, right? I don't know what's going to happen moment to moment with this guy. But I'll take Zalatoris here. But man, if Spieth won this week or next week or whatever, I would be not surprised at all.
I took Zalatoris. I think Zalatoris is way safer in a matchup. I think the floor of Zalatoris is so inherently high right now because the ball striking has become so elite. Spieth, I have no idea what to do with. Like, what's the state of the union on Spieth right now? Because again, we talked about how this is such a good group of major championship venues for Spieth, and I don't think he's finished inside the top 30 at the U.S. Open, Masters, Players, or PGA Championship this year, which is very disappointing in my opinion.
Missed the cut at the Masters. That's horrible. It should never happen if you're Jordan Spieth. Finished 34th at the PGA Championship and then 37th at the U.S. Open. You might cut him some slack at the U.S. Open because he was like super sick the first 2 days, but
right.
You're right. It's not good. Everything else besides the major championships have been way better, honestly.
What number would you need to see on him at St. Andrews to give him a bet?
Like 30,
30,
35.
30. Yeah.
30.
Sounds about right.
Somebody
I
will
agree
hang a
with you.
30. Somebody will hang a 30 and I'll bet it. As long as he doesn't win this week. He is the guy that I think he was like 25 or 25 last time I saw. If he wins this week, he'll be the favorite next week.
You think? Wow. I mean, I don't know about the favorite, but I think he will jump up a tier. I think
maybe not the favorite, but it'll be like 16-1 or 14-1 or something.
Right. I agree. I think the Scheffler, Rahm, JT, Rory mini tier is kind of locked in. I think those guys have such a strong resume.
I completely agree. But no one wants to get burned by Spieth at St. Andrews, and Jordan Spieth is about as public as it gets.
Yeah.
Right? Is there anybody more public? Like we talk about, okay, I don't know, like what's the football equivalent? Like the Patriots or the Packers. The Packers are a public. The Cowboys, that's a better example. The Cowboys are such a public team. Who's the most public golfer? Is it Jordan Spieth?
Well, outside of non-Tiger division, yeah, I think it's Spieth or Rory. I think Rory's up there, man, because I think now Rory's like he's the white knight of the PGA Tour, and I would say biggest storyline in just terms of play outside of like Liv and outside of Tiger is probably Rory, right? Yeah. I would say that the most people are looking to watch Rory. I think he's almost like too perfect for that golf course. So I would say, yeah, if Spieth wins this week, he'll make a run, but I still think you got to put Rory up there too.
Fair. Okay. We're both on Zalatoris here. Yeah, you're right. The floor for Zalatoris is just so much higher, and the the floor is so much higher for Zalatoris, and the floor for Spieth is so much lower. So we'll see how that goes. He got DQ'd from the Pro-Am. Did you see that? Spieth did?
I did, for like scooping a putt.
That's what I mean, I do that all the time, but he was like 18 inches away, scooped it up, and forgot that he has to post his own score.
Yeah. Which, listen, I mean, that Jordan, I salute you, man. He was playing golf in La Hinch and all those great Ireland courses. Have a day, buddy.
And the best part is he still gets to finish and play for his team. He's just out of the individual.
So
He's still playing. Yeah, it's so
out of the individual competition, which is fantastic. Normal sport, as we say.
That's right. Scotty Scheffler, Xander Schauffele. I might just lock button both of these guys in this week. Stoked about both of them, right? I mean, Xander's. I've made this case before, but like even if you remove the 2 wins, his strokes gain metrics are phenomenal. Then he goes out and he probably wins this stupid thing and has me foaming at the mouth even more. And then Scotty Scheffler, Andy, you want to talk about floors? The guy is literally slumping with his putter, like literally a stroke per round worse with his putter, slumping. 2 runner-up finishes, a 13th, a 15th, and an 18th in a slump. That's a joke.
He is 2 strokes away from a 6-win season with 2 majors. That is a solid season for Tiger in his prime, right? Like what Scotty is doing right now is it continues to be underrated, in my opinion. So as much as I love Xander, like if you're giving me, if it's just even odds and we're trying to pick who's going to have a better finish, I'm taking Scotty over anybody in the world right now until proven otherwise.
If Rory McIlroy had this season, they would have a gold statue of him in Ponte Vedra by the Tour Championship.
If Rory McIlroy, if John Rahm, if Justin Thomas had this season, they'd be 30% in DraftKings every single week. Every single week, regardless of price. And, Scotty's still not there. It's
a special year, man. It's a very special year he's having. And there's like not much sign it's slowing down anytime soon.
I was looking at, I got caught looking at Spieth's 2015, where he won the Masters, won the US Open, finished top 5 St. Andrews and PGA Championship, I think too. I was watching the final round of the 2015 St. Andrews on YouTube just before I go to bed, just to kind of get me pumped and in the mood. It's sick. My only knock on it is they never show the leaderboard for the open films, which is like makes it very frustrating. But I would recommend checking that out if you want to get the juices flowing in the next week.
Jordan Spieth's 2015. Here we go. Oh my God. Okay. So wins his second start of the year, which was the Hero. Top 10s at Phoenix and Pebble Beach and the Northern Trust. That was at Riviera. The one was the Northern Trust Open. Wins the Valspar. Finishes second at the Valero. Second in Houston. Wins the Masters. Wins the U.S. Open. I mean, this is stupid. It's stupid.
It's stupid. So what did he finish with? Like 2 majors and 5 total wins?
5 total wins, 4 runner-ups, and 1 third. So that is 10 podiums in 25 starts. He won the Masters and the U.S. Open. Yes, and finished runner-up at the PGA. So he almost, jeez, oh man,
he almost won all 4 majors. Like I was watching to come full circle with that point. I was watching the St. Andrews final. Like he was there.
It was win, runner-up, and T4.
Right.
At the majors.
Right.
Stupid. One and done update. So we have been kind of just putting these in via text as our schedules have mismatched over the past couple weeks. It's a very simple update from last week, Andy. You and I took the 2 favorites, Adam Hadwin and Webb Simpson. They both missed the cut. So we got $0. You're $2 million clear for the year. You're at 5.6. I'm at 3.6. But man, Webb and Adam Hadwin. What a lame Thursday, Friday from those guys.
I don't really regret the decision, right? Like I wasn't going to use those guys were the favorites for the reason. I wasn't going to use them in any other spot, but yeah, just a late a complete and total leg. So we move forward.
Let's move forward. You've teased this already. You're going with that. I almost called him Andy Scott. You're going with Cam Smith. I don't know why I almost said that.
Yeah, I was surprised that I still had Cam Smith available. To be honest, I was proud.
Do you? Should I double check the spreadsheet? Do you have him available?
So I do, from my bookkeeping.
You do,
but if you want to fact check it, I respect an audit. Yeah, so I was surprised that I had him. We're getting down to crunch time, right? And I still feel like I'm playing Rory at St. Andrews. I still have him available. I think it's a good spot for Smith. I mean, how does the purse rank? The purse is kind of like middle of the pack. Maybe the purse is a little bigger because it's the co-sanction.
I think it's like one of those. I think it's 8 million. I think it's 1.3 up top. So that's like your John. I mean, what did Xander probably won the same thing at the Travelers?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Okay. No, I'm feeling good about Cam Smith. Let's rock and roll, buddy.
I am just out. I'm out of guys. I'm out. I have no one left. So I am down the board here. I have played Tommy Fleetwood. I am not excited about it. I am hoping that Tommy Ladd can find himself in a scenario like he has at the Renaissance Club the last 2 years. I think he's got like a 26th and a runner-up finish. I'm looking for let's just have Tommy win this and we can continue the whole, hey, maybe this is a PGA Tour event, but Tommy can't win in the United States. Like, let's just pour gasoline on that fire. Maybe Tommy can win this thing.
Well, I got to give you a fair chance as a chaser. Last time there was an alternate field, we did it, and I had the guy that finished second. So if you want to throw, which helps my lead. So if you want to, I don't think it's a very big purse, but if you want to throw Barbasol into the mix, I've done no research on it, but I'm happy to do that.
Yes, I do. Do you know? Hold on. So let me add this to the outline. Do you have any idea who the favorite is? Because I just found out.
It's Goddard, right?
Well, depending on where you look. So Mark Hubbard and Chris Goddard.
Wow.
I mean, you have to let me go first, by the way.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
I just have to take Goddard up here, don't I?
Yeah, I would imagine that.
There's just no other scenario in which I take anybody else.
Do you have the odds board up by any chance now?
Yes, I do. I can bring it to you here in a second. So, come on. I just got to arrange my windows. Here it comes. DraftKings.
Okay.
So
easy. This is easy. I've been riding Svensson forever. That guy's
I knew
my
you were
dude.
good. I knew you were going to go with Svensson. That was the only other one that I considered.
Yeah, Svensson, 100%. So let's do it. Got her up,
Okay.
Svensson. I feel
Got
good
her
about
up,
that.
Svensson for all the money. Mark Hubbard, the favorite. Streelman's 22-1. John Hutt, 28-1. I bet you. Sam Ryder at 40. I could get behind.
Not bad. Yeah, I like Ryder too. Makes a ton of birdies.
Someone named Dale Whitnell is 65-1.
Wow, rough times.
Yeah, how is he? Michael Gligic played well. He was 70-1. He played well last week.
Is my boy Eckroat in the field? Austin Eckroat, by any chance? He's been.
There are two Austins in the field, and neither of them are Eckroat.
Cockerell, I'm guessing, is one of the Austins. Then
Cook and Smotherman.
Oh, okay. I like Smotherman too. All right. Anyway.
All right. Interesting. All right. Whew, maybe I can get an extra $400,000 that way, or whatever the winner's share is.
Purse is.
Andy, absolute pleasure. Glad we could connect on a Tuesday. We will be back on Friday, which by the time we go live, that round will almost be over on Friday. We'll basically have the cut determined.
Yeah, whatever you want to do. If you want to move it up or keep whatever, you just tell me.
Keep it. Probably just
All
keep
right.
it.
Yeah.
Okay. Follow Andy on Twitter. He's available at ADP Sports, and you can find me at RickRunGood. This has been your Tuesday Scramble for this week. Best of luck. Talk to you soon.